Well, a very good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Turf Talk, as well as Breeding to Win. And it's an important show because it's all about the ladies. And this will be the ideal opportunity to introduce my co-presenter, Julie Alexander. Julie, welcome.
Thank you, Grant. And yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's show because, as we know, women do take a part in racing. I know you guys don't always enjoy it, but yes, we've made a stand.
What do you mean we don't enjoy it? It's the highlight of our careers when the ladies are getting involved. And
do you?
Oh, yeah,
do you enjoy it?
Fantastic.
You just don't like the challenge?
I tell you what I did enjoy.
Yes.
I enjoyed the Kenilworth Ladies' Day because there were so many ladies there. They seemed to have such fun. And it seems to be an event that's just going and getting stronger and stronger. Not to mention when you buy a charity horse to the like of Zabadabadoo and it performs like that as well.
Absolutely. And just shows you how much fun girls actually can have. I think they get a little bit wilder than boys.
We know how much fun girls can have. That is one thing for sure. Right, let's talk about some of the ladies in racing during the course of the show as well. But we'll start off with that Ladies' Day out at Kenilworth. And Vicky Minot and Heather Hildick and her team put this together for us.
Ladies' Day at the races, Las Vegas, glitz, glamour. It's about having a great time here with lots of ladies. So fun, fashion, food and entertainment. Lots of women are filtering in and it's going to be a fantastic day. You're welcome with a great glass of champagne and prizes to be handed out. You get your lucky number and hopefully you get those prizes. This year we've got a fantastic host in Jenny Morris, the Giggling Gourmet, to entertain us throughout the day, so it should be a fun-full day.
Your racing cards are there. I know that we're going to get some lovely racing tips just now. If you don't know how to gamble, someone's going to help you to put your money on a race. Can you give us some advice on that? Names that start with S. Okay, in the next race, blame the doctor. Enjoy, ladies.
After a warm welcome from Jenny Morris, the room is filled with fabulous fashions from Desiree Designs.
Hey, you boys, come on, let's make some noise. 1, 2, 3, sing along with me and feel the boom, 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 boom. I want you to put me in the room. The way you dance, it puts me in a trance. Swing, swing, swing. My heart began to sing, and it went boom, 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 boom.
No event is complete without a delicious meal, and the cool day at Kenilworth here is perfect for this meal that's fit for a queen.
Gimme, 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 gimme that swing. Gimme that swing. Gimme that swing. Gimme, 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 gimme that swing. Gimme that swing. Gimme that swing. My heart is giving you love. Try not to need you so much.
Great when your bed comes in!
Right from the start, your eyes were saying the same. But now it seems I was easy to shade. I'm gonna shoot you down.
Harper, the female horse, was auctioned at Ladies' Day. The proceeds went to the Highveld Horse Care Unit and she was auctioned off for 15,000 Rand. She had beautiful braids in her hair and she got a lot of support, especially from one table.
Sold to Amanda Carey, well done. Come and take photos. Here we go. Face that way, look. Beautiful stuff. Well done.
Amanda, you have another horse in the yard.
Yes, we do. Harper. Luckily, she doesn't eat.
I see you've got another girl on the table over there.
We bought this one last year. I think that was Helga. And so we decided to keep it in the family. The Highveld Horse Care Unit did a wonderful job. And so CTS and then the table contribute and top it up. So we're contributing 15,000 Rand. 10,000 Rand from CTS and 5,000 Rand from the rest of the table.
Pippa, will Harper be racing or will she go to stud?
Oh no, she's a filly. She must go race first. Can't be to stud. She's got to be a winner to come to stud.
You're going to be racing with a whole bunch of really exciting people.
They're quite crazy. But maybe we should call ourselves a Las Vegas syndicate.
The name of this horse is Zabba Dabba Doo. As you've already heard.
In 2013, the idea of auctioning off a horse at Ladies' Day was introduced. And there was a horse that was kindly donated by Hemel & Arderstud and Marsh Shercliffe. Brett Crawford kindly donated his services as trainer, and this was Zabba Dabba Doo, a son of JPEG.
So, for 130,000
Zabba Dabba Doo fetched an impressive 130,000. All the proceeds from the auction went to the charity of choice, Reach for Recovery. With the purchase of Zabba Dabba Doo, the Flaming Flamingo Syndicate was formed, consisting of 12 women, all excited to see their horse hit the racecourse. Despite Zabba Dabba Doo being purchased in 2013, he only stepped onto the racecourse on the 24th of January 2015 here at Kenilworth over the 1200 metres.
Far side 10, Zabba Dabba Doo, corner offer, ready to race.
As Zabba Dabba Doo broke out of those starting stalls, it looked like it might have just been a run for experience until the 200 metre mark hit.
Zabba Dabba Doo is also getting in the race nicely too, right up the outside. It's Music App in front, Downton Abbey, Cosmic Code. Zabba Dabba Doo trying hard up the outside, but Music App is in front. Cosmic Code and Zabba Dabba Doo coming late, but Music App stays on to win. In behind that, Cosmic Code. Zabba Dabba Doo was in behind those, and they were.
After a flying start to his career, he continued to win 4 consecutive races from his 5 starts.
And Zabba Dabba Doo breezed on by to win going away.
Inside, Triple Bluff is flying home, but Zabba Dabba Doo has come out to win it. Zabba Dabba Doo from Winter Trade.
Jones, it's Zabba Dabba Doo. That's going on best of all. Zabba Dabba Doo from Pigeon Flyer. Zabba Dabba Doo puts her head in front close to home, and Zabba Dabba Doo gets up to win it.
Well done. Now you've got a wonderful team of ladies here for a good cause, because it was all after charity as well, and he's starting to repay you big time.
It's absolutely fantastic. We're just so excited. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's just so much fun to be part of it all, and we recommend it. People get interested, do stuff. We're doing it for charity. Everything is good about it. It's fun.
Awesome horse, and I'm really, really pleased to be involved in something that's for a good cause at the end of the day. And I think with that's what's going to bring us a lot of good things with this horse.
Just shows you that when you do things with a good heart, they're getting their just reward. And it was so nice to be in the box and hear them all scream. It was awesome. So well done to them all, and to Corner, a great ride, and to everyone at home, and of course to Marsh and David, who bred him and donated him. Very well done.
Here goes at 140,000. Are you sure you don't want to own the next JMB Met winner?
In 2014, on the Ladies' Day event, Fred Krabbier bought Blue Tack, who went for an impressive price of 150,000 Rand. Blue Tack was kindly donated by Maritz Fontaine Stud, as well as Mary and Jessica Slack. The training services for Blue Tack were kindly donated by Dean Kannemeyer.
Sold for 150,000 Rand.
We're now in 2015. There's a room full of ladies and a fantastic filly on offer. Her name's Spending Spree, so there will be a bit of a spending spree when she gets auctioned off.
We can start with 50,000 bucks.
This year, a daughter of JPEG was kindly donated by Marsh Shercliffe and Bryn Russell. She's well bred. She's out of an impressive Jetmaster mare in African Airways. Trainer Brett Crawford once again stepped forward to donate his training services for Spending Spree.
At 350,000 right at the last second. Go 275 if you want, ma'am.
During the auction, a wild card appeared. In the back corner, an unsuspecting woman was bidding for Spending Spree.
Sold on my left-hand side. Congratulations, and we wish you everything of the best with the fillies.
I'm married to Mark Waters, a racehorse trainer years ago. He went out of the whole thing. He got cancer, he survived it. And he said, if I come, Lorna, you love horses. If you come here today, buy a horse, and whatever you want to pay for it, because the money's going for a good cause. I never knew it worked like you've got to be in a consortium, and you've got to have lots of people that work with you. I thought, I'm just having fun. I'm buying this horse.
and now you can look forward to having her on the racetrack.
Yes. If it's not raining though, I don't think she must run if it's horrible like this.
You see, but it's fine. You're a woman with a plan, and you've got spending spree to look after you.
Yes. But I had a wonderful day. It was nice. Thanks for everything.
Since 2013, at Ladies' Day, a horse gets auctioned off and the proceeds go to the chosen charity for that particular year. And the chosen charity for this year has been the Sunflower Fund.
The Sunflower Fund is the only organisation in Africa to recruit bone marrow stem cell donors. The fund was founded 16 years ago by Tina Botha, who lost her son to leukemia. At the time of Chris's death, there were only 1,200 donors on the registry. I'm very happy to inform all of you today that 3 weeks ago we reached the 70,000 donor mark.
R300,000 is an enormous amount for us, and all we can think of is the amount of donors that we can put on. We're extremely grateful to Kenilworth Racing that they believe in our brand and our cause as much as what they do in order to have made us the beneficiary of this awesome day.
Ladies' Day has always been a hit and nothing has changed this year. Every year it gets bigger and better and the women have more and more fun. Always the important factor is that the proceeds go to charity. So next year, same place, different time, but a great event once again.
KZN is the province with the most female trainers that definitely beautify our industry. Michelle Wing caught up and tells us more.
There are not many sports where men and women compete alongside each other on an equal footing. Horse racing is one of them. However, it wasn't until the late 1960s that the Jockey Club permitted women to train in their own names. Although a few strong-willed women did train, they did so secretly, appearing on the race card under their husbands' names or those of their assistants.
In 1938, the winner catalogue was actually trained by a woman, forced by the rules of racing to use her husband's name.
So New Zealand springs another surprise, and the 8-year-old catalogue, the oldest horse in the race, rises from obscurity to win one of the world's greatest turf classics, the Melbourne Cup.
Since restrictions were lifted, increasing numbers of women have entered the sport with increasing success. Those that have do so with great passion.
I just adore the horses. That's why I started in the beginning. When I first worked for my dad, I went there, I had a pair of espadrilles on and a skirt. And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'll work with the horses, Dad." And from there onwards, I just didn't stop. And I think I was about 14 years old, and that was me, you know. Mucking out boxes and just being with the horses. That was it.
It's so exciting. We get to deal with them from when they come in as youngsters and see them through their career, and it's so exciting being able to be involved and prepping the horses for race day.
I'm trained by Lola Crawford. I think that's Lola's second career winner as a trainer.
It's getting up in the mornings. You know, I've worked at Summerveld for 26 years now. I worked for Tony Finesse for 12 years, and getting up every single day is never ever a hassle. It's just the most beautiful place to train racehorses. I've got 60 horses in training at the moment, and to see their faces over their stable doors as you arrive, a lot of them call out. And getting to track and watching the horses go through their paces and hearing the hoofbeats on the sand, and it's just such a thrill.
For me, it's the whole lifestyle. It's a way of life. It's been my way of life since I was 15 years old. You know, I rode in the first ladies' race when I was 15 at Clarewood, had to get up early in the morning, ride the racehorses, and I've been doing it ever since.
It's in the blood. I grew up with horses, and I just love being around them, and also the competition, the competitive side of it.
Kochka wins it. Well done to the Ellison Wright stable and Glen Had. Put your hands together for number 9, Kochka.
it's just so exciting to see that horse that you've trained, you know, go over that winning post first. It's just an amazing feeling, and they're just fantastic animals to work with.
And it's Delray Beach going on to win it. Delray Beach has won it.
This is actually one sport where a woman can be equal to the man, you know. And maybe the only sort of difference is maybe the woman brings a bit of a softer side to it.
I think we've got a little bit of a softer touch to the males, and being a little bit softer, I think you can get a lot more out of some of the horses. Some of them do, some of the colts and the bigger horses enjoy you being hard on him, but the fillies, your little fillies and that, I think a woman trainer just brings out the best in them.
Maybe us ladies give a little bit more attention to detail, and maybe we try and work out each horse as it presents itself, and sometimes the silly fillies. Sometimes you lose and sometimes you win. You're trying to work them out.
We have a lot more patience and we have a lot more empathy.
I like to think we're a little bit more maybe intuitive, give the horses a bit more personal attention. I've noticed a lot of lady trainers seem to have slightly smaller yards compared to the male counterparts, so maybe the horses get a little bit more individual attention.
Flight, well done to the Lola Crawford stable.
Women possibly accept each and every individual for what they are. Not all horses are going to make it in racing, but I think we accept that others are suitable for other disciplines as well. And in my stable, we're absolutely passionate about each and every horse and making sure that they have a life after racing as well.
So what advice do they have for other young women wanting to enter the sport?
Yeah, I think they've got to realise that it's a way of life. You know, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's hard work, but if they're passionate about it and they're willing to put in the hours, and you know, they certainly can get into it as any other male can do it. I think having backing is a huge help, you know, financially, but yeah, it's all about the lifestyle, I think.
The best advice I would give a young person is work your hardest. Don't get up in the morning and think, oh geez, another day's work, because then you'll never make it in this game. Get up in the morning and think, what can I do today? What new can I learn today?
You know, go and get in with a big stable. I think that's a lot easier than in with the smaller stables. You're then exposed to more owners and you meet more people, which I think is important for later on in your career.
Start early, because there's a huge time requirement before you can actually qualify as a trainer, so the earlier you start, the better.
It's a tough job. It's got to become a way of life, you know, it's something that you've got to love. Hours can be tough. Lots of highs and lows, in fact more lows than there are highs, and you have to be diligent and you have to really, really love what you do.
If you had your life over again, would you do this?
Just earlier.
I would never change it for the world.
Ciao!
Yvette Bremner posted down in Port Elizabeth. Well, she's one of the female trainers who's not scared to travel horses. She's been up to Gauteng with Copper Parade. She's also travelled to Scottsville with juveniles, and she's had a fantastic strike rate when travelling too. Andrew Bond catches up with her. She's one of the only trainers who on Ladies' Day has managed to string together 4 victories, winning the jackpot, and she's got a whole host of success stories behind her with the team that's been associated with her too.
Born in the little village of Hartswater and subsequently moving to Knysna and then Cape Town, Port Elizabeth-based trainer Yvette Bremner has now been involved in the sport of thoroughbred horse racing since shortly after having finished school. During the course of this program, she'll tell you a little bit about who she started with, who she went along for the ride with, and how she eventually became a fully fledged licensed trainer in an essentially male-dominated world. She has the backing of some of the really prominent owners of South Africa, who are too numerous to mention. But she has trained the Horse of the Year in Port Elizabeth in the son of Victory Moon Blaze of Fire, who we'll talk about in due course. Riding her own work is certainly one of her great specialities, and Carl Hewitson has played a significant role in recent times, along with a whole host of eager, passionate and committed young girls, many of whom have gone on to make their own name as independent trainers in their own right.
We've just arrived at the stable of Yvette Bremner, who's been a licensed thoroughbred horse trainer since 2002. And we've come to find out exactly how she started this fantastic profession, who she started with, who she's been with along the way, and what her dreams and goals and aspirations are all about. Yvette, thanks very much for giving us the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better in this environment. It's a very hard business, I know, and you started off with some really special people, not least of all the legend Stanley Greif.
Yes, I started off with him just after I left school, and I spent a year in Cape Town, and then one of my dad's friends, that was a lady that owned horses with the late Stanley Greif, she actually got me the job with him, and I don't think anyone thought I was going to last. I think the longest, they were all taking bets, and the longest they gave me was two months. And 8 years later, I was still there. So it was a joke that we all shared. From Mr. Greif, I went to Mr. Coetzee. I just filled in for Tracy Willard when she went on holiday, and the 2 weeks became 4 years. So we had a very, very good relationship. I think Mr. Coetzee's yard grew to 2.5 barns, and he'd only started off with one then, so it was very, very good. We were a good team. And then I got offered a satellite job with Paul Lafferty, and then I ended up doing that with him.
So that was at Arlington?
Yeah, and then I had to move to Arlington because all my experience had been at Fairview, and Mr. Coetzee was lovely because he did say to me, I must take a chance and do it, and if it didn't work, I could always come back to him. And it's always nice to know that you've got that cushion and someone's giving you an opportunity to progress, but if you didn't make it, you could always come back. We all know Paul, he's good fun, good laugh, very, very easy man to work for. He really gave me
free rein.
Yeah, I could do what I thought was right in the yard, and I have to be thankful because he actually sent Manfred Rower down to come and vet our horses, and I must say I've learned so much from Manfred, probably more from him than anyone else that I've ever worked with. And still we learn. He still flies down to PE to come and treat our horses, and we all learn every day. I think of all the assistants that I've had and how much they've learned from him as well. So yeah, it's been a good trip. Hey, put your lip away.
Let's talk about this fella quickly, because he's obviously wants to be chatted about. He doesn't want to be ignored, and I know we've got lots of things to talk about, but who is he and what's his claim to fame?
This is Oriental Tiger, bred by Ascot Stud. I have to thank Headley probably, because he went to Ascot, and since he's bought Copper Braid and owned him, he's always been a bit of a lecture fan, and so I've become one since I've trained Copper. I enjoy them, they're lovely horses, and I must say they've picked up a little gem in this one. He's owned with Bron van Hastian, was a really, really super guy. Never mind being a good owner, he's really a fantastic person. Anyway, so the two of them own him, and he's done really well. He won his first start, and then we took a chance, big gamble, took him to Durban for the Grade 2, and he ran second in it, so we were very chuffed with him.
You've never been afraid to travel. I mean, probably one of the most travelled horses in South Africa is Blaze of Fire. He's been to every single corner of this country and still going strong, and I believe that you've even given him a chance to now cover a few mares.
Well, one of his owners is keen to breed with him. He's got a very, very good page, and I'd probably go as far as to say if he was a sounder horse, he probably would have done even better. Maybe picked up a Grade 2. And he's run behind good horses, you know, so I think...
Jackson.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, amazing performance at
yes,
Gravel that
day. And he ran second to the Coxels that went to Dubai and won there, so that was also very good. And yeah, I think he deserves a chance. And his Victory Moon, who I think died way too early. I think he would have been a fantastic stallion. And yeah, and he's out of a good dam line as well.
And he was Horse of the Year?
Yes, he was Horse of the Year.
Great looking horse, and incredible demeanour for a stallion. I mean, I believe that Mr. Peskin's daughter actually rides him. The fact that he's a horse is merely incidental.
Exactly. Yeah, we never had a reason to geld him. That's why he stayed a colt all his life, because he was just such a pleasure. Yeah, he was a real gentleman. Even around the fillies, he was a gentleman.
Well, the funny thing about this particular program is that it's celebrating Women's Day and Women's Month. And you've always had a very large complement of girls in your yard that have got that obvious femininity and that gentle touch that horses so desperately crave for.
I think it does go a long way, and yes, I've had Abby. She was very good with horses. Unfortunately, she didn't carry on with her career in horses. She emigrated to London. Then Lizanne worked for me. She's a successful trainer now. I think she's done very, very well with...
Ambitious, eh?
Very small yard, yes. So I really hope things improve for her as well. And then Barbara's got a job with Dean Kahneman, and he had nothing but good things to say about her when I met him in Joburg.
Well, he has had the most incredible season. I mean, they started like a skyrocket and they finished with a bang as well. It really, really... And to see that glow on her face was very, very heartwarming, because I know she comes from a small little town like Port Elizabeth, but it's a very, very important centre nevertheless.
Well, when I moved to PE, I thought I'd be here for 2 years and then I'd move on, and I'm still here. It's a really, really laid-back, nice town, city to live in. I think you have all your pros and definitely less cons than the bigger cities have.
It got to a stage in your life where you'd achieved a lot of very special things training for Paul. I mean, you knew the territory really, really well, and you said that he gave you free rein. That was clearly evident. He must be an incredibly easy person to work with, even though he's very ambitious. I'm sure he has great respect for all the years of accumulated knowledge that you had from Mr. Coetzee and Mr. Greer.
Yes. Well, I think that's why we also made a good team. He would just pop up and give us some advice about small things. We'd discuss things, and he always... I don't want to say valued my opinion, but it was good enough for him, so that helped. And it just made it for a really easy working environment, and I think we did very well. The time did come when he offered me the yard, and I was very apprehensive about taking the job. But then I had people like Mike Jocock and Jay Ramsden and Alec Laird. They all did offer to help, and they said they'd support me and send me horses and owners, which they did. So I'm truly thankful to them. Mike sent me some really good horses, yes. They weren't particularly sound because they were old and they'd come to the end of their career. But there's no substitute for talent. They had it. It just had to be rekindled and their little problems sorted out, and they did really well. Wakar is still with me. He retired with me. And yeah, unfortunately, Jackie Mason, he did die. But he had a very happy life. He ended up just staying on a farm in the country. He used to go for forest rides, out rides.
Well, it was while you were at Arlington that you achieved the very, very rare feat of training the entire jackpot.
Yes, it was. I don't know, I never ever think of things like that. I just want all my horses to go out and win and do the best. And I don't really want them to go to races if they're not capable of winning. There are times when you need to run a horse in a race to get them that extra bit fitter, because you can grasp.
A bigger plan in mind.
Yeah, you can gallop them as much as you want, but it's not the same as a race. Yeah. And some horses just need that. Other horses run fresh. You don't even take them to the grass, and you just let them go for a run. Eldon Kamark is one of those horses. He's just when you step straight out into a race and he'll give you his best. But other horses, they definitely need that blowout to bring them on. They really need to be exerting themselves, which they only do in a race.
I'm sure, having read many a book about a veteran horse breeder, horse owner, horse trainer, you never ever stop learning in this business, and surely every single day becomes more vibrant to you as you have this thirst for knowledge.
I think that's if you have that if you're in that frame of mind that you can never stop learning, I think you'll go a long way. It's people that think that they do know it all that don't benefit. They'll become stagnant.
You've obviously had a whole myriad of different owners because it used to be the thing that smaller trainers couldn't be fussy. It was only the big trainers that got the Becks and the Jaffes and the Oppenheimers of the older brigade. And, more recently, of course, it's been Marcus and Ingrid Jooste. I shouldn't really even start mentioning names because I'm going to leave somebody out.
Yeah.
But it must be very hard to manage all these different personalities, the grooms, the horses, the jockeys. It's a multicolored rainbow of emotions and attributes.
Yeah, if you sum it up like that, then it is very difficult, but I just take each one as they are. I think if you just explain, most owners are, a lot of them, I will say most, I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them have the horse's welfare at heart. And if you just explain where you're coming from and they understand what you're getting at, then they're agreeable to most things that you suggest.
Well, you had some new owners over here this morning that have got 3 or 4 horses in training, and it must be a delight to start off with people that are almost green and fresh, that you can train them your way rather than somebody that's been passed on that's disenchanted with another yard, which inevitably does happen.
Yes. To me, I think it's wonderful because I've been around racing so long now. So when you do see someone come to racing and they're so excited and you hear that they couldn't go to sleep the night before because they're so excited about coming to see their new horse that they've just bought, that's lovely. It's really good for racing, and it's encouraging because you always hear racing is going to be a dying industry and people always speak negatively, but they don't get to see, like you witnessed this morning, a new owner coming to the yard and seeing their horse.
It really is very unfair to try and encapsulate the life of Yvette Bremner into such a short program. But we can assure you that on Turf Talk, we'll be taking this matter further. We'll put the lid on it by telling you that success should be measured by happiness. You should live your life to the full. And if you accomplish this and you are happy, then you have succeeded.
Well, coming up next is Breeding to Win, where we include various inserts, including JPEG, Pathfork and Vercingetorix, an exciting new stallion back in South Africa, as well as a look back at the Bush Hill Stallion Day.
Well, on Breeding to Win, we've got a host of stallions, as Julie's mentioned. We're also going to be catching up with Andrew Bond, who took a turn out at Bush Hill Stud. Now, Bush Hill Stud are growing into a stallion barn of note. They've obviously got the likes of King's Chapel. They've got Curve Ball. They've also got Irish Flame. So a nice band of stallions growing there. And Warren and Corin Render, they certainly seem to be doing a good job.
I was out there a couple of months ago, and they certainly are. Those babies are turning out left, right and centre. And they've also got Redoubt's Promise standing there.
That's
I know
right.
Lawrence Werner's is a stallion. So I think they're going to be in for a nice season this year.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew Bond caught up with the team out at Bush Hill. Warwick and Corin Render, great bunch of guys there. They certainly know how to put on a nice stallion day. And this is what transpired, showing off their boys.
The Bush Hill Stud, situated just outside of Moy River, belongs to Corin and Warwick Render. Or should I say, Warwick and Corin Render. But who cares anyway? They both work equally hard. And to quote Warwick, he said that last year I mentioned that Corin threatened me with not having another stallion day. And I have to admit that her wish came very close to happening, as many circumstances have tried hard to cause all our plans to flounder.
After much juggling of dates to not encroach on other activities in this hectic month, we finally decided to compromise and settled on today's date, only to hear at the 11th hour that there had been major changes to the racing calendar due to the rain last week. This and probably the worst drought we've had in some 35 years. If I'd only known that this is what it would take to make it rain, We would have planned for at least 3 stallion days in the last 3 months.
However, despite many last-minute cancellations, we decided that we were too far down the road not to press on. A little like breeding in general, some might say. For us, this day is not only about showcasing our stallions, but also about saying thank you to all of you who have supported both Bush Hill and our stallions in the past year. And as such, we will always endeavour to make it worth your while by attending today. So let's start off with the son of Fastnet Rock. His name is Curveball, and he's the first and only son of Fastnet Rock to stand here in South Africa. Under normal circumstances, I would leave it to a member of the Klavervlei team to tell you about Curveball. But since the Klavervlei Stallion Day is taking place at this very moment, it is left up to me to tell you about the exploits of the supreme racehorse. Curveball's progeny made their first appearances at the sales this year, where he largely drew the support and respect he deserves, achieving an impressive 120,000 rand average for all progeny sold to date, with his top price thus having been 350,000 rand. One would have to say a very good return on just an 8,000 rand service fee. And not surprisingly, Charles Laird, who we know rated this horse extremely highly, was amongst those to have put his hand up for some of the progeny.
I go as far as to say it's probably the best Australian horse that I ever trained. You know, we gave him a run first time out, he ran 4th. He then won his maiden. In his 3rd start, we ran 1-2 in the Dingons, he won it. His 4th start, he won the Sea Cottage Stakes, 1800, 6 weeks after the Dingons. I will tell you, probably 3 weeks before the Dingons, I took him to Turffontein and galloped him with an older horse called Odyssey, who had won 5 out of 5. He gave him an absolute hiding. Scott Kenny was standing in the background. He said, "Al, the big horse worked well, but please tell me what was the companion." I told him who it was, and I think he got the money in the Dingons. You know, when I say I can't tell you how good he was. And he was a bull of a horse, so he was only learning anyway.
Coolmore rate Fastnet Rock so highly that they have put his service fee at a level that they are not even willing to publish, and boldly make the statement, the best stallion in the Southern Hemisphere, something that we are sure Arrowfield connections of Redoute's choice would debate rather hotly. But the reality is that Fastnet Rock yearlings have averaged over 385,000 Australian dollars in that part of the world. Moving on to Irish Flame, who has twice been shown at the Bush Hill Stallion Day. And Irish Flame is the first son of Dynasty to have gone to stud. He is the only son of Dynasty at stud to have emulated his great father and achieved the title of Equus Horse of the Year. One of the highest, biggest advertising points for Jackson is that he is a son of Dynasty who has twice won the Equus Outstanding Sire Award and is also the first 3-year-old Horse of the Year in South Africa to sire a 3-year-old Horse of the Year from his first crop. And Irish Flame is that horse. From a South African Horse of the Year, we now move on to King's Chapel, who is a New Zealand Horse of the Year and also as a 3-year-old. He was a triple Grade 1 winner over 12, 1400 and 1600 metres, and he broke the respective course records on each occasion. He was a horse good enough to take on the best in the whole of Australasia and was beaten by a whisker in a Grade 1 by Grand Army, which meant he was also touched off by this horse for the title of Australasian champion. But as with any sire, there comes a point at which one must not measure him only by what he has achieved himself, but by the achievements of his progeny. And King's Chapel has given every indication that he has what it takes to make an impact here too. And so King's Chapel continues week in and week out to produce results on the international stage with obviously diminishing representation. And so to Redoute's promise. He boasts a pedigree that demands respect from any self-respecting Australian, and so by all rights should do the same for us South African breeders. Let's put that into perspective with a few facts. His Mother Perfect Promise was the first and to date only South African bred horse to win a Grade 1 race in Australia. this subsequent to her showing her class locally by winning the Cape Fillies Guineas, Grade 1, the Grade 2 Emancipation Stakes and the Diana Stakes, along with seconds in 2 further Grade 1s and Grade 2s. But this is only part of the damn line, and the woes it caused the Australians because Perfect Promise Phil's sister was a filly called Iridescence, who in the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II defeated the Australians' beloved Ouija board, becoming the second South African to win the race after London News did so back in 1997. This after securing the title of Equus Champion 3-year-old and Classic filly, courtesy of her South African victories in the SA Classic, the Willhaventon and the Gerald Rosenberg. She was also victorious in Dubai, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom and America. His sire Redoubt's Choice himself has been much in the public eye this season, with local Grade 1 winners including Majmu and Wiley Hall now at stud, with these two confirming that this magnificent stallion's influence is as potent in South Africa as it is elsewhere in the world. So let us remind you that the last year not only was he Australian champion sire for the 3rd time, but the next 2 slots on the sire's log were filled by 2 of his sons, an unheard of achievement for a stallion in his own lifetime. And so to the son of Danehill, Toreador. Everyone needs a banker in racing, and there are few that are more reliable than Toreador, both in the sales ring and on the racetrack. A fact borne on by how many trainers supported him with their own mares last season, something which speaks volumes to us on what they see in the progeny on the tracks. Not that it's been hard to see, for he has enjoyed a wonderful season, and not a week, in fact barely a race meeting goes by without him giving someone a return. He certainly has some very exciting prospects in the pipeline this season, probably headed up by the likes of Prospect Strike and Laser Star. Little wonder he was once again one of the most sought-after sires at the Suncoast Sale, and this year, where he once again proved to have one of the best return ratios on his service fee in the country. We can only say thank you to all his connections in choosing to make this horse available to us here in KwaZulu-Natal, and to all of you who have shown the best form of gratitude possible by supporting him so well and filling his book each and every season. He certainly deserves nothing less.
Pathfork, the undefeated champion 2-year-old in Ireland during his season, was a big, strong, athletic colt with a magnificent action. That's what everybody said. He now stands in South Africa at Highland Stud, and it looks, Grant, like he's stamping his progeny the same way.
They are very popular, Julie. They're very popular in the sales ring. You can see that by the average prices, CTS, they average just under 500,000 Rand. The trainers seem to really like them. I think you get a lot of horse for your money, and he looks to be a very exciting proposition.
And he certainly has impressed, as you said, the trainers with his first crop of babies. Let's take a look.
Pathfork was undefeated at 2 years in Ireland to become the highest rated 2-year-old in Ireland in 2010. And with an official Timeform rating of 120, he was one of the top 5 rated 2-year-olds of his year in the world. He broke his maiden in July by 4 lengths, easing up over 7 furlongs. His second start in August took him to the Group 2 Galileo Futurity Stakes, which he won by 1.5 lengths, also over 1,400 metres on firm ground.
And Pathfork from Glornamara, a break then to High Ruler and Samuel Morse. But Pathfork is digging deep for Franberry, and Pathfork will make it 2 out of 2, wins the Galileo Futurity.
He went back to the Curragh a month later with yet another step up in class to win the Group 1 Vincent O'Brien National Stakes, despite the race being run on ground unsuited to his smooth ground-saving action.
Pathfork and Franberry, Casamento on the near side, Declan McDonough, they're inside the last 100 yards. Pathfork is 3 parts of a length to spare. He's going to keep his unbeaten record. Pathfork and Franberry win it for Jessica Harrington.
Timeform said he won in the style of a horse who has plenty of improvement still in him, leading on the bridle over a furlong out and in no danger afterwards to win from Sheikh Mohammed's Glornamara. Here, he again took on an illustrious field, which included Zoffany and Casamento. He was crowned Irish champion 2-year-old, undefeated in his 3 starts at 2 years. Standing 16.1 hands high, Pathfork is a classy, big, strong, attractive stallion and a very smart mover. A respected Irish horseman said of his movement, "It's enough to send shivers up your spine. He moves like a leopard." The team that acquired Pathfork said they had been searching for a stallion of his pedigree and racing class for a very long time. Syndicate manager John Freeman said of Pathfork, "He is the sort of horse you dream about buying. And suddenly, you are in the right place at the right time with the right connections, and you get lucky enough to be able to get the right team together to buy him." The whole deal fell into place overnight, and we were able to beat rival bidders at the post, said Freeman, who also syndicated and manages Dynasty at Highland Stud Farm. Jessica Harrington, during an interview with John, heaped praise on her former champion. She got him as an early 2-year-old and said that he was a very straightforward horse right from the start and just got on with his business. His class was evident from the first time we worked him. A very easy mover, always 100% sound, and the most beautiful walker, magnificently conformed. Wonderfully relaxed horse, even a child could ride him. Pathfork is the first son of champion sire Distorted Humour to come to SA, and he hails from one of the top Niarchos families, known for precocity and soundness. Distorted Humour is the sire of 16 Grade 1 winners and over 125 stakes winners globally. His dam, Visions of Clarity, is a stakes-winning 3-part sister to Spinning World, top-rated 3-year-old miler in Ireland in 1996, champion older miler in Europe in 1997. He won 8 races from 2 to 4 years, including 4 Group 1 races. From just 545 live foals, he has sired an incredible 41 individual stakes winners, including 8 Group 1 winners and an impressive 64.5% winners to runners. All of Pathfork's first 3 dams are stakes winners, and 2 of them have Group 1 form of their own. All of the first 3 dams have produced a Group 1 winner and/or a champion. Pathfork hails from the same family as champion sires Nijinsky II, Northern Guest, El Gran Signor, Try My Best, Redoubt's Choice, and The Minstrel, to name but a few. His pedigree is rated A++ by Trumix. He stands at Highland Stud Farm and is managed by John Freeman.
Well, named as the Giant Killer after his scintillating performance in the Dubai Duty Free, JPEG earned over 40 million rand in stake money, and his progeny are still catching the eye in the sales ring.
JPEG, the fine jury's now got out, he's charging home, but JPEG's going to land the guineas. JPEG, big six, desperately close, JPEG, big six.
JPEG kicking again, JPEG and Dargina, JPEG the outside, JPEG.
JPEG is in front of Recast, in third position the Sir Slick, but JPEG wins the game.
Towards the outside, Olympic Owen is running on with Willow Magic, who's coming on strongly, but it's Jimmy Choo. Olympic Owen is coming home hard. Olympic Owen coming home smartly. Olympic Owen has gone on to beat Jimmy Choo.
Sun is up the outside. Tiger Island getting going late into the final 100. It's Flash Drive in front. Tiger Island is coming along the inside, but Flash Drive is going on to score. Flash Drive beats Tiger Island.
Hot Affair is running them ragged. They come down to the 200. She's out in front by 3 and widening with each and every stride. Hot Affair is too good. She's dodging the nursery. Hot Affair is going to win it comfortably. The battle's on for the places.
So I think they're horses that have got a future. You know, they're nice scopy horses and a lot to work with. Real trainers horses.
A very exciting addition to the stallion ranks is Vercingetorix, unbeaten in South Africa before going off on international duty, and certainly flew the South African flag very proudly, winning the Group 1 Jebel Hatter. He now stands at Main Chance Farms. Andrew Bond caught up with racing manager Justin Vermaak.
Typically Silvana, he got better as he got older. He accomplished a lot in a very short time, and you can't do that with a horse that hasn't got quality. It was all quality.
And Vercingetorix are going to win it really comfortably here as they come down to the line by about 5 lengths as they cross it.
I think it's scary where you think this horse is going to go, you know.
He was probably the best horse this year in the yard, and we need such kind of horses to win big races on World Cup night and to travel around the world like we did before with some other horses. And I think he was really able to to win big races in Hong Kong or maybe here in England in Royal Ascot.
Vercingetorix has a neck up on Cape Town Noir, who's scraping paint, and now about 8 lengths off the mass. No worries, given a little bit more bridle in front. Bay of Bengal Corridor is just in the picture. A reminder or two for Winthrop, and Lua Castle's got it to do from there. Vercingetorix is looking to come to the stand side. No worries at the 300 Cape Town Noir. Vercingetorix is running the race of his life on the stand side. Cape Town Noir. Vercingetorix is now putting his hand up. Vercingetorix and Cape Town Noir. Cape Town Noir coming on. And he looks to prevail by that shorty from Cape Town Noir. Corridor's up the inside, but as they go to the line, this performance of Vercingetorix will go down in the history with that magical stride.
I really didn't feel he was sort of mentally and physically ready to beat Cape Town Noir, but you know we were confident he'd run a good race. But he showed a tremendous amount of ability. I mean, I know we haven't got to the bottom of this horse. He will improve a lot. He hasn't been entered for the July. He will be now anyway. Yeah, fantastic. You know, we bought one horse on the sale, Johan and myself, for Sheikh Mohammed at this sale, and it was this horse. For a Guineas winner to come out of it is fantastic. Well done to Claverflow as well. Yeah, I think he's a horse with a bright future and you know, a real scopy and an exciting horse.
You know, going through the season, we looked back and we thought, geez, we've got nothing really for the July this year, and here he popped up, and yeah, he beat the favourite of the July, so that's all I can say.
Rock Cocktail goes. Yorkers down the inside second, then Abercrombie. They're followed towards the outside. Vercingetorix, Love Struck, Corridor. Down the inside, Wars tries to run on. Vercingetorix coming home powerfully now. Rock Cocktail on the inside. Vercingetorix hit the front at the 200. Wiley all on the outside. No worries running on. Cape Town Noir comes home well. Vercingetorix holding on and won it. Cape Town Noir second, or No Worries. And behind that, Wiley Hall, then Rock Cocktail. The number 2 wins it. No Worries on that. Number 11 will run second. Third's going to go to Cape Town Noir. Wiley Hall beaten a neck into 4th position, and then Rock Cocktail. Remaining undefeated is the son of Silvano, Vercingetorix. Came from a maiden, and in less than a couple of months is now likely to be the new outright Vodacom Durban July favourite. Anthony Delpeche for Mike de Kock.
He quickens and he gets there very easy, and then he tends to loaf at the end, and he waited for them to come, and then he wanted to go again. He's a very good horse. When he learns to really race properly, this horse, he's a serious horse.
Yeah, he was a tremendous horse, and he gave us a lot of pleasure, that horse. And he was a horse that went in 4 runs from a maiden to a Guineas and a Group 1 winner, yeah. He accomplished a lot in a very short time, and you can't do that with a horse that hasn't got quality. It was all quality. Typically Silvano, he got better as he got older. I mean, he never raced at 2 because he did injure himself, but he was never going to be a 2-year-old. He was a nice 3-year-old, but he was a much better 4-year-old. And I mean, let's face it, anybody who owns horses in this game today, I don't want the champion 2-year-old and have nothing at 3 and 4. I want the horse that can run until he's 5 and 6 years old and keep reproducing and giving you pleasure. He's got a hell of a dam line, actually, if one looks at it. You know, he's got a real chance with that dam line. As you say, all the speed, brilliance of milers and 7 furlong horses as well. So, I mean, he's got a lot of the attributes that one would want to start off with. Whether they make it or not, that's the gamble. But, you know, it's the gamble we're all prepared to take.
Vercingetorix in the middle, then to Bowie, followed by Starboard on the rail, Code of Honour, and further back Regulation as Gale Force 10 lays it down to Captain Joy. Vercingetorix is about to go through between the pair. Simeon gives him full bore, and Vercingetorix went to the front with 200 to go. 4 Jats chasing. Code of Honour steaming down the outside. Vercingetorix in front of 4 Jat and Code of Honour. Vercingetorix is tired. He's hanging on. Code of Honour's too late, and the King of the Gauls has won. Anna Arobio's moved away from the rail. Left the fence. Vercingetorix has room on the inside, then Quick Wit followed by Vancouverite and Mushrek on the outside. Vercingetorix went through on the inside to join Anna Arabio past the 200 metres mark. Vancouverite third. Tradestorm's running on out wide, but it's too late. Vercingetorix in front, and Vercingetorix is too good. Vancouverite second, Anna Arabio third.
Yeah, extremely lucky, Andrew, to have managed to land him to come to main chance. He went through the divisions very quickly, straight up into the Group 1s, where he won at weight for age terms, beating Cape Town Noir, who's now going to stud Wiley Hall, who we've all seen what he's come out and done, all in that Daily News race. And then obviously he went overseas and he put in some huge runs there behind great horses like Just Away, who was the Longines Horse of the Year in that scintillating duty-free performance. He obviously ran just behind him there. And yeah, unfortunately went a little bit wrong during his prep for the duty-free, which was a race he looked like he'd start off as one of the favourites, just about to go and win it. So a little bit unfortunate, but to our benefit and to the breeding industry of the country.
Vercingetorix followed him forward. He's about to launch a claim, and Just Away went forward behind the King of the Gauls, and Just Away for Japan sprinted, coming to the 250 metres mark, and Just Away dashed away from Vercingetorix.
We would have loved him to have won the duty free, which would have been classic, but we bumped a horse in Just Away that day who put in literally a Horse of the Year, World Horse of the Year performance, because that's where he earned that monster rating of 130 or whatever it was, and went on to be the Longines Horse of the Year. And look, he won a Group 1 here in the Daily News. He went to Dubai and won the Jebel Hatta, won a Group 1 race overseas in Dubai. So I mean, it just shows you he was a top 3-year-old. He trained on to be a top 4-year-old, international Group 1 winner by Champion Sire and Silvano out of a mare by the Great National Assembly. Everything is there for Vercingetorix, and he's received great support from the breeders in terms of sales for shares, and there's still nominations available to him.
Mr. Pomeroy the rail, True Story the outside, and now Vercingetorix comes to the outside to give chase, and Sumion hasn't moved a muscle yet. James Doyle's working overtime, and the King has gone to the front. But 200 metres left to go. Vercingetorix gets away from True Story. Then Mr. Pomeroy. Now he gives him a click, and Vercingetorix opens up a little, but he'll be an easy winner.
Everything on track for him to stand his first season and studded here in South Africa?
Yeah, everything's on track at the moment. Obviously, he did have that injury, which did delay procedures in the beginning a little bit. He needed to pass the veterinary procedures and all that type of thing. And obviously, getting horses over here from Dubai does take a little bit of time. So, as you say, he'll need a couple of weeks and a month or so at main chance to freshen up and be at his absolute picturesque best. But we expect him to stand him here, and he'll be ready to go for the beginning of the season.
They talk in racing parlance about size of size, whether it's Northern Dancer or Sadler's Wells or whatever you're talking about, but there's no doubt in my mind that Silvano is already proving himself to be a horse that can produce that stallion to proliferate his genes.
Yeah, Andrew, I'd be very surprised if Silvano doesn't become a sire of sires. I mean, his sire Lamatos passed it on to Silvano. Lamatos is a great stallion himself. Silvano has gone on, and he's obviously got a relatively young career in terms of broodmares in the country, but he's already had broodmares that are producing very good horses. So he's thrown it on the dam side, and I'm sure he'll be a sire of size. Obviously, Bold Silvano is a horse that stands at stud here, but early to judge him. He hasn't had runners yet.
He was very well received at the National Yearling Sales.
He was, and his progeny sold for good prices, as you say. So, it all points there. And with all due respect to Bold Silvano, Vercingetorix probably has been the best performed son of Silvano on the racetrack anyway.
He was probably the best horse this year in the yard, and we need such kind of horses to win big races on World Cup night and to travel around the world like we did before with some other horses. And I think he was really able to win big races in Hong Kong or maybe here in England in Royal Ascot.
And now Vercingetorix comes to the outside to give chase, and Sumion hasn't moved a muscle yet. James Doyle's working overtime, and the King has gone to the front. But 200 metres left to go. Vercingetorix gets away from True Story. Then Mr. Pomeroy. Now he gives him a click, and Vercingetorix opens up a little. He'll be an easy winner of the El Rashidi.
We believe in excellence. We believe that if you're going to do something, you do it to your best ability. We aim to make Balmoral #1 in the Southern Hemisphere, not just South Africa.
Becoming very close to Ready to Run sale time, and one of the leading consigners at all Ready to Run sales is Balmoral Stud. Now, Balmoral are great pre-trainers. They've produced some really interesting runners, and they've also got the success story now behind them. You think of the likes of Red Carpet Captain, who's come out and won a feature race, Lauderdale as well, who's a Group 1 winner in the Tukwini, and Nicola does a fantastic job.
Very much so. I know Brian Bernard is a huge fan of Balmoral, because you've mentioned too that Brian Bernard has purchased off those Ready to Run races, and they certainly do well, Grant. You also, I think the way she prepares them for the sale, and then they follow up. You know, they don't take too long to get into a race. A few of them have won, you know, quite quickly going into those races after the Ready to Run. But not forgetting Tammany from the Sean Terry stable. I mean, Balmoral bought Tammany in Australia, put it up on sale. Sean Terry bought it, and it went on to win the Gerald Rosenberg Stakes. So they're not just precocious, they do train on a little bit as well.
Fantastic strike rate, and they've got a fantastic draft going to both sales. They're going to be having a bigger draft at the Ananda sale, the Empress Palace Ready to Run up in Johannesburg, and certainly that's a nice sale. They had it last year for the first time at Ananda. It proved to be a really big success.
Very much so, and I see this year they've got 41 yearlings coming up on that Ready to Run sale. So
I think represented by about 41 different sires as well, and they've got a real cross section. They've got international pedigrees in their catalogue too, and they'll also be heading to the Western Cape with the draft of horses too, when that sale late in November. So lots of action, and we've obviously got Balmoral as a sponsor on the show. We've shown you footage of their facilities. They do a fantastic job, and be sure to keep an eye on when the catalogue comes out for those Balmoral drafts. But the interesting fact for me coming up, Jules, is the $1 million race is currently hanging around 13 million rand.
Well, with the rand,
the way the rand's going, yeah.
Well, I heard that by the end of the year, the rand to the dollar could be 20 to 1.
So January, when they're running the first $1 million race sponsored by CTS, every day for the last couple of days, that stake has been increasing. It is now just over 13 million. Who knows what it's going to be like in January?
That's exactly it. So very exciting. And you know what? It's actually just goosey. You know, you kind of get that shiver down your spine, because this is what racing needs. This is what's going to take racing to another level and put us with the sports around the world that it should be. And
Can you
so well
imagine
deserved.
You've got a runner in that race and you wander into the parade ring, and the jockeys are mounting, and they start wandering around, they're about to leave, and you running for a purse as big as that. It must be absolutely mind-blowing for a South African who's been used to stakes of around 3.5 million as the top echelon. Now you're talking about 10 million on top of that. It's going to be a fantastic day out, I'm sure, and those owners are going to really relish the moment when those runners make their way down to the start. So lots to look forward to. We've obviously finished the KZN season. We're going to be heading into a small little Joburg season before we make our way down to the Western Cape, and obviously we bang in the middle of the breeding season too.
An exciting season ahead of us, Grant, because it is the stepping stone, of course, for the Western Cape, our short season here on the Highveld, but interesting to have a couple of raiders from the Western Cape now taking their place in the bigger features. And I think, as always, you look for that competition. That's what we want. We want to see the best horses racing in your province and competing for the higher stakes. So I think full marks to those guys that will be competing on the Highveld, and then obviously going back to the Western Cape, you know, for their season there.
I think that's going to be a top season as well. So as you say, exciting times ahead, but exciting times ahead for the show as well. We'll be back with you on the 13th of September with our next one. We'll be bringing you more highlights with new news on stallions and also news in the industry from our 3 regions. So lots happening all the way around.
And I know you're a very busy man, as am I, so...
You're a busy man as well?
No, I'm a woman.
Okay.
For Women's Month. There you go. Wishing all the women a happy Women's Month, and hopefully you've had a good month so far. From Grant Knowles, myself, Julie Alexander, and the rest of the Turf Talk team, good night.